Cue the spotlight, shine them bright. Gonna have a brand new show tonight, with glitz and glam on the marquee. Perhaps a Tony nominee. Stars beam brightly, see them glow. Sell out nightly, SRO. It's time to applaud the Broadway beat. Stars beam brightly, see them glow in the footlights of a show. Life is sweet on the world's most famous street.
Tickets, please.
Take a seat.
Cue the band.
And have your feet to the rhythm of the Broadway beat. The Broadway beat. Broadway beat.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge, and welcome to Broadway Beat, our weekly half-hour behind-the-scenes look at the very best of the New York theater on Broadway and beyond. This week we have a great show in store for you. We'll catch up with comedian Sandra Bernhard, who has returned to New York at the Darrell Roth Theater with her new show entitled Sandra Bernhard, Everything Bad and Beautiful. We'll also drop by the opening night celebration for Primary Stage's new show, which is A Safe Harbor for Elizabeth Bishop, starring acclaimed actress Amy Irving. We'll also give you a look at the latest production of City Center's Encores, which was the 1971 Kander and Ebb musical 70 Girls 70, which stars, amongst others, Olympia Dukakis, George S. Irving, and Carol Cook. But we start things off by stopping by the Promenade Theater on Broadway and 76th Street to meet the cast of Carolyn Leach's new thriller, Tryst, starring Maxwell Caulfield and Amelia Campbell. Under the direction of Joe Brancato, Trist gives the audience a tantalizing glimpse behind the closed doors and unspoken secrets of Edwardian England. The play is part romance and part psychological thriller with a twist of fate. It tells the story of George Love, a handsome con man played by Mr. Caulfield, who seduces love-starved women, including Adelaide Pynchon, played by Amelia Campbell, a desperate woman who dreams beyond her mundane world of a local millinery store.
Does your mother know about me?
Nope.
Will she mind?
Shouldn't think so. She's dead.
Oh dear.
Yes, tragic. Her punt capsized at Henley.
Oh.
She was dragged down by the voluminous folds of her white muslin dress.
Oh dear.
I still miss her. Ache to be held by her. Oh, Adelaide.
My character's name is Adelaide Pynchon. She's, I guess you would say, a spinstress. She's never been married. She lives at home. She's a milliner. She makes hats for a living. What attracted me to it was a number of things. It's a very, very complex, interesting character. The journey she takes it's quite extraordinary. It's really one of the most wonderful written parts. I mean, it's very meaty. It's British. It's period. I always love to do British, to do dialects. And it's a two-character play. So it's very, very challenging, and you hope, of course, that the actor you work with is someone that you feel a very strong bond with, and fortunately I think Maxwell and I are lucky enough for that. This is a young well, in Edwardian England she wouldn't be considered young. She's in her 30s, who's never found love, has had these big dreams, and this prince comes into her life and says he wants her, and there may be something fishy about him, but that doesn't matter because she actually witnesses her dream coming true, which I don't think she ever really thought would happen. And consequently, he sweeps her off her feet, and then things get very interesting.
I
don't want you to touch me. I'm sorry.
Is there something about me you find disarming or disgusting?
No.
I mean, I have been told I'm not without a certain charm and grace, perhaps even handsomeness.
Yes.
I believe I know how to dress. I believe I know how to conduct myself as a gentleman.
It isn't you.
Then what is it?
Me.
What's the matter with you?
I'm the matter with me. I'm always the matter with me.
What are you?
Don't look at me.
Well, I think the play is amazing for many reasons, and one that pops to mind is the fact that this play is a contemporary play in the sense that it is written by Carolyn Leach, who is alive and well and living in Taunton, England. And she, by writing it, of course, she's bringing her own contemporary sensibility to a period, 1910 England, Edwardian England. So there's an amazing transparency of today's sensibilities in a period piece, which is a wonderful, wonderful tribute to the writing, and I think makes for a very exciting evening of theater. And the play is very much about secrets, and since we all have secrets, and secret seems to be the motivating force through this play that makes it very much a roller coaster ride of emotions and twists and turns based on the varying secrets that they each possess and reveal at different times and stages during the piece. And ultimately, George Love, being played by Maxwell Caulfield, eventually, through the play, unveils a man who becomes, quite frankly, for the audience, I think, pretty much of a litmus test for compassion for the audience, and seeing really where we find ourselves on the scale of compassion. Amelia Campbell is opposite him in the most breathtaking performance I've seen in a long time, and I'm very, very proud of the mounting. I'm thrilled to be surrounded with people like David Corrins on set, and Jeff Nellis lighting his set, and Alejo Viete designed some magnificent clothes. So it's a kind of a exciting process to be involved in, and I'm very proud of this piece at the Promenade Theater, very much. And being here at the Promenade is amazing, amazing. Couldn't sit in a better house.
And she's happy, isn't she?
Yes.
You remember that. You don't need him or anyone else to make you something.
I need you. Because I love you, Mr. Love.
Adelaide?
Yes?
Have you got those cards?
Of course I have.
And enough hairpins?
Hundreds.
Get them out, why don't you? We can have a game of 21.
Don't you mind?
I don't mind.
Well, he is a cad in the true sense of the word. I mean, he does love them and leave them. And not only does he leave them, he cleans them out as well. So this guy is pretty disreputable. But he does meet his match in this character, Adelaide Pinchin. And George Love is somewhat of a fictitious name. He's it's a nom de plume that he uses to seduce women, to level them on the spot, you know, and with a hint of the seduction to come. But he also chooses very vulnerable women, usually somewhat spinstery type gals. But the other prerequisite is that they have to have money, or he has to sense that they have what he terms a little nest egg that he fully intends to fly away with, like a nasty thrush. Again, without revealing too much, she's it's not so much she's onto his game quickly, but he never gives of himself to these women other than on a physical level. So when she gets to him emotionally, that's when his cracks begin to show. And the play has a sort of, the word Tryst has a slight dark overtone to it. So there's a menace to this play. And it really could be termed a romantic thriller.
That's what I was going to do to you! Should have been halfway on a train to Bristol by now! Only last night, I looked at you here in this room, and I knew that I loved you. Is that what you want me to say?
Only if it's true. Is it true?
Yes. I love you. And your hairpins, and your tea, and your sweet hands, lovely face. I love you more preciously and tenderly than I've ever loved anything. I want to hold you and keep you warm and safe and make you smile. I ache when I look at you, and I know you could destroy me with a word, but I want to write poems for you and fill your life with flowers and joy. Yeah, it's all true. I'm a con man who's going to leave you with nothing. Only I found my heart of gold. I'm Jack the lad who's met his match.
The latest production from City Centre's famed Encore series was the 1971 John Kander Fred Ebb musical 70 Girls 70. This chestnut of a show featured a book by Fred Ebb and Norman L. Martin about a group of seniors in their twilight years who form a gang to steal furs to help raise money to buy the dilapidated residence in which they live. Tony Award winner Kathleen Marshall guided a remarkable cast including Olympia Dukakis, George S. Irving, Anita Gillette, Charlotte Ray, Bob Dishy, Tina Fabrique, Mary Jo Catlett, and Carol Cook. Joining them were some of the musical theater's greatest alumni, including Harvey Evans, Robert Fitch, Patty Carr, and Carlton Carpenter, to name just a few.
Go visit your grandmother, and you might even bring her flowers. Oh, and take her out for a walk, or maybe you'll talk for hours and hours. Oh, to me, it's trapped in the elevator, knocking on the way the engine took me downstairs. Oh, trying to get the window to go up there. Oh, trying to get the window to go down there. Oh, trying to get the super on the boat. Not another Rico, but he's in Puerto Rico. Oh, baby, where the heart is, and I'm going to. I know where my heart is, lying home. Run, other places, run, other places, run, other places. I want to go, dear, see home, dear.
Encore's final production of the season will be the 1931 Pulitzer Prize-winning musical of Thee I Sing, which features music and lyrics by George and Ira Gershwin. It'll run from May 11th through the 14th. Now, acclaimed actress Amy Irving has returned to the New York stage in a new one-woman show entitled A Safe Harbor for Elizabeth Bishop, which has just opened at Primary Stages, located at 59 East 59th Street. We dropped by the opening night celebration to chat with Miss Irving, playwright Marta Goes, and director Richard J. Alexander. Miss Irving plays Pulitzer Prize-winning poet Elizabeth Bishop, a woman whose profound passion for art and beauty produced 4 volumes of poetry and a near 20-year romance with the extraordinary Brazilian architect Lata de Macedo Soares. The play transports the audience to the harbors of Rio, Seattle, New York, and Boston and takes them on a journey of redemption and self-acceptance.
Are you kidding? Political prize? No, there must be some mistake. I have no political connections. Politics is not my subject. What? Police prize? Pulitzer Prize. Pulitzer Prize? Who told you that? A telegram from the Associated Press. You did say Pulitzer.
We were neighbors. When I was 2 years old, I went to Petrópolis to live in my family's summer house, and Elizabeth had been living there for 2 years. So while I grew up in Petrópolis, she was there all the time. We never met, but I heard a lot about her. So when I first read reviews about her work, I realized that Elizabeth was the one from my childhood. And so I paid attention. I felt immediately bound to her.
Was it an easy play for you to write? Talk about the journey of writing this play.
Oh, I don't think any play is easy, but it was kind of natural to write about a world I knew so well and that was so dear to me, like Brazil in the 50s and 60s. And of course, she offered wonderful ingredients for a dramatic character, because she is a very fragile woman who struggled and managed to survive because of her talent. So this helped a lot.
Poetry needs these simple moments of daily work. I need this calm to write. I need these small pleasures to sleep in oro preto. Under the window, oro preto. The conversations are simple, about food, or when my mother combs my hair, it hurts. Women in red dresses and plastic sandals, carrying their almost invisible babies muffled to the eyes in all the heat. Unwrap them, lower them, and give them drinks of water lovingly from dirty hands. Here where there used to be a fountain, here where all the world still stops.
Well, as an actress, what I love about her personally is that because she's done stage and film, and she was sort of born in a trunk, her father having founded Lincoln Center, Jules Irving, her theatrical arcs are absolutely intact and correct. From her film work, the attention to detail in the way she works her business is fascinating, because I love detail. And a lot of people don't worry about it. Oh, what's going to happen? Let's just let what's going to happen. Given the detail and the arc, still things are always different. So it's great, it's risky, I never know what's going to happen. As far as the one-woman part of it, you know, I was faced with that, and I didn't take the job until I saw the Brazilian production in Portuguese, because it's been running 5 years, and it was so different and not anything that I was interested in or saw in my brain that it set me free, and then I knew I could do it. You know, and I knew I could do it. And Amy and I met for a couple of months before we actually started rehearsing on Fridays. And I say, Amy, where do we draw the line between reality? How much business do we want to get into? Where does it stop? That's why the slides are sort of purposely fuzzy. And, you know, I didn't want to be too specific. And we built it together, really. I mean, she's acting with an invisible acting partner. So we really did the piece together. And she's a director's dream. It's funny. Imagine who she's been directed by, and she's listening to me, you know. But the friendship almost disappears. You know how it's like when somebody plays a part and you're friends with them? Probably like when you see Cheetah or somebody that you're close to, and they disappear into the character, and it's no longer that. So I'm talking to Elizabeth Bishop. You know, I'm not talking to Amy anymore. And then after, when we go drinking, it's Amy. You know, so it's great, and I love Marta's play. And you know, this past summer I got to go to Brazil with Amy and Marta, and we went to Elizabeth Bishop's house, and I had a real moment, you know, where I just thought, how lucky am I? Like, how lucky am I? You know, you've heard me say this before. So it's good. It's a good night. And Amy's mom is here. You know, Priscilla Pointer came in from California, and so it's a great night. It's really Amy's night. So, and you'll be talking to her, I'm sure.
The last time I saw her conscious was a week ago. Very early in the morning, she stared at me in the most horrible way, and all she could whisper was 10. Maybe telling me how many pills she had taken. That was the last thing she said before she went into a coma. At the hospital there was hope. They kept saying that she was reacting well, but then her heart gave out.
Well, initially I read her letters, One Art, which a Brazilian friend had given me. And then I found the book when I was a volunteer mom at Fieldston when Max was there, and I started reading poetry. And then when this play was done in Brazil 5-6 years ago, many people sent me a copy of it in Portuguese. I read it. I ran down to São Paulo, found Marta, and started to talk to her about bringing it to America, and we reworked it together. And her father said, "So what? So are you going to produce it?" And I said, "I don't think so." And they said, "Well, what do we do now?" I said, "Well, I guess I'm going to produce it." So I found a home for it at New York Stage and Film. We began it at Vassar because that's where all of her archives are, and that's where Bishop went. And then we found a home here, and I felt it was something that New York might appreciate, and it's just been a big thrill for me to not only be starring in this and producing it, and I'm one of the translators on it, so it's been like a very adult experience for me. My father died young, but he was a great man in the American theater, and tonight when I got on the stage by myself, when the theater was empty, I went, "Daddy, look, Jules, look where I am," and I feel really excited. I hope people come and see it and like it, and
it's such a wonderful, wonderful, moving experience because you learn so much. And it's really challenging, I would think, for you because one-person shows, I would think, would be really hard to do, to captivate an audience for 85 minutes or whatever. What were the challenges for you when you first started to translate it?
I think the hardest thing is because there are 32 scenes, the transitions are really fast. So you go from, and she had a very, deep life, and so moving from one scene to the next is the challenge. But everyone thinks it's like people have come back and said it's such a populated piece, and for me the challenge was to bring Lotta to life, and she's so alive for me that I feel like the people think they know what she looks like, but trust me, they don't.
Because that's what I thought on Saturday. You always hear these people talk to another person on stage and they're never there, but she was in the dining room, she was in the bedroom, she was everywhere with you.
It's your fault, Lotta. You seduced me. You did. You stared at me so blatantly, no subtlety at all. I wanted to say, Lotta, people are watching, disguise it a little. But then I began to like your eyes all over me. I began to stare back. Last night after dinner, when you touched my arm, I had to check everyone's expression to make sure they didn't see the spark. You saw the spark, didn't you, Lotta?
Lethal satirist and comedian Sandra Bernhard has returned to New York with her new show entitled Sandra Bernhard, Everything Bad and Beautiful, which is just opened at the Darrell Roth Theater. It's an evening of wild comedy, reckless rock and roll, and dark social commentary as only Sandra can deliver. We caught up with her right before her opening.
That's right, pleased to meet you. I still won't tell you my name. Don't you believe in mystery? Don't you wanna play my game? Looking for a man to love me like I've never been loved before. I'm looking for a man who will do it anywhere, even on a limousine floor. Cause tonight I'm living in a fantasy, my own little nasty world. Tonight, don't you wanna come with me? Do you think I'm a nasty girl? Tonight I'm living in a fantasy, my own little nasty world. Tonight, don't you wanna come with me? Do you think I'm a nasty girl? It's time to jam. Nasty girls, dance, dance, dance. That's right, it's time to jam. It's time to jam. Nasty girls, dance, dance, dance.
Pamela Hansen, who's a friend of mine, who's a fabulous photographer. She's a fashion photographer, and she does portraiture, and we had like a great shoot. I don't love shooting on digital, but so many people do this day. Obviously, they clean them up and make them beautiful, but we had so many different things going on, and we thought these were the 3 pictures we picked, and then we thought, oh, this is perfect to use all 3. A great triptych.
Really dynamite. How did the new show come about, and when did you start working on it?
I started working on it a little over a year ago. They wanted me to do it in L.A. My agents wanted me to do a new show, and I was like, it was like my 30th anniversary performing. It was my 50th birthday, and I thought I was going to do an anniversary show, like do a tribute to all my shows. But then I started putting it together, and I was like, I don't want to go back. I want to go forward. So I just started getting inspired, and I put it all together. And I actually went to Australia, and when I was over there performing, that's where I kind of all gelled.
So talk about some of the things we're going to see in the new show. What are some of the themes?
Well, it's more political than, Without You I'm Nothing, or I'm Still Here, Damn It, because the times are just so, you can't ignore it. But, of course, I always, try to add an original twist to it and not just be didactic and beat people over the head. I think the show is super personal. Not that all my other shows haven't been, but, I talk about my relationship, I talk about my daughter, and of course, it's a great, rock and roll, meets cabaret, meets theater, it's got it all. I have a great band. They're really super talented musicians, and it's just a great show. It's just like brings you in.
And then she calls me late one night from some roadside truck stop. Mama, he left me here all by myself. I don't know where I am, and I'm so scared. I think he put something in my drink. I'm lost, and I'm standing next to his Cinnabon. I say, baby, don't you move. Mama's coming to get you. I'll kill the little prick. And I barrel down the highway, and I find her next to a mobile station. And I bring her into the car and I wrap her in a pashmina. And I look at her and I say, baby, don't you let anybody define who you are. You be a beautiful, strong woman, and Mama will always be here for you. I love you with all my heart and soul, baby. Wherever you go, I'll be with you. Whatever you want, I'll give it to you.
So what do I do to stay in shape now that I'm 50? The same thing that I have been doing for probably, 10, 15 years. I work out with a trainer twice a week, and I really try to watch what I eat. And, I incorporate a little bit of yoga and a little bit of, some kind of aerobic exercise twice a week just to keep the blood going. And I walk a lot in New York.
Because you look dynamite. You look so great.
Thank you.
Now, this show started in Los Angeles?
Yes.
Okay, New York is one of your favorite places to play. Talk about the New York audiences and why you like playing here.
Well, I think it's kind of changed over the years, honestly. I think that, New Yorkers can be a little bit, sit back and, prove it to me. I'm not saying, I'd prefer, playing in L.A. for months on end, but I think L.A. is a little more starved for, entertainment, and so I think they, in a weird way, they're a little more appreciative. Here in New York, they have their choice of a lot of theater, a lot of, people come through here. So you have to work a little bit harder in New York. But when they get it, they get the nuances that other cities don't always get. But it's changed.
Yeah. And talk about some of the new songs that you wrote for this show and what they're about.
I didn't write any. They're all covers for this.
You picked the best covers, so what did you use?
Well, I'm only going to tell you one thing, because I never like to give anything away, but I was doing Don't Stop Believin'. This was the one piece I had in I'm Still Here, Damn It, but it's changed a little bit. It's about Sicily, but it's, it's evolved a little. And the other day, the people from the theater called and said that Steve Perry won't clear his songs anymore because he's a born-again Christian. So on the spot, I came up. Well, actually, I was thinking about replacing it anyway with the Flame, Cheap Trick. So I've managed somehow to maintain the little element that I'm allowed to use, and then go into the Flame. But I'm glad. If he's a born again Christian, I don't want to put any money in his pocket anyway.